Good afternoon, traders, and happy Monday. So, we're just going to run over some of the key things that have been going on so far today since the open this morning, and have a look at some of the key news that's coming out. So, I'm really not going to touch on every piece of key data that's coming out this week. We're just going to look at some of the main ones. So, starting really with tomorrow, Tuesday. We have Chinese manufacturing PMI and the non-manufacturing PMI. So traders will be having a look at that one. Then on to Tuesday. We have Canadian GDP and the employment cost index coming out. It's going to be a busy dollar for the USD, and there's going to be quite a few coming out, so we'll get to those ones. So, employment change, unemployment rate for New Zealand. If you are trading the Kiwi, check that out on Wednesday. We have a few bank holidays on May the 1st, so China have a bank holiday, and then there's a couple of European bank holidays as well, including Germany, Italy, France, and Switzerland. So we will move on to Thursday, and things start to heat up on Thursday with the ISM manufacturing PMI. But the key one is the Fed, and we'll have the federal funds rate, which is expected to remain on hold at 5.5%. We have the FOMC statement, press conference, and we also have the Governor of the Bank of Canada speaking as well, and then we have CPI as well for Switzerland. So there's a few things coming on Thursday. Obviously, the Federal Reserve is going to be the big one. I think we're probably expecting rates to remain on hold. Inflation has been a little bit more stubborn than first expected. So do we see any sort of updates and comments from the Fed, how they're seeing inflation, and will there be any hints? And basically, will we see a hint about interest rates potentially being cut this year, or is it going to be, we're just not going to see that this year? So I think that will be some of the questions people will be asking. What will we see from Powell and his comments on Thursday? So, and then to really top it all off, we have non-farm payrolls data coming out on Friday, and that will start, tops out a pretty busy week. So payroll data is expected to come in at 243K. The previous was 303K. So will we see any surprises there? They're looking for a lower amount. I think last time it was higher than expected. So will that continue to also, hinder in some of the expectations about the economy slowing? There has been a few comments saying the economy is pretty firm at the moment. And just moving on to some of the markets. So we can see the US 30 futures are firmer at this stage today, as are the NDX 100 and the S&P 500 futures are pushing higher from this morning's open. There's a nice higher low there. We're going to look to see if we can see a move back up to test resistance here. Similar story on the US 30. We'll see if we can get a move back up there. The NDX really shot up late last week, and Friday was a bit of a stalemate, but we can see new highs above last week's highs, and we're wondering if we can get back up to test and break this level. We see a nice move up here. We're going to look for a new pullback to push on with a new higher low, and then if we see a new higher high, we'll then look to see if this trend is going to be something that's going to get back up to test some of these resistance areas. I think it'll be interesting to see the reaction from traders on Thursday as well after the FOMC. Will we see any surprises there that could cause a little bit of volatility in price this week? Now, the US dollar index has been performing very well, had a very solid session to end last week. It looks like a continuation is in play, so we'll just see now if price is a little bit lower today, and we'll just update it. And we're going to see if the buyers can get back on board and push back up. That's really the resistance area we need to see tested. Now, while discussing the dollar index, so we had the Bank of Japan last Friday, and today the dollar yen has continued to really soar. We can see that high earlier today in the 160s. That's a really big figure, and it continues on from that massive session we saw on Friday. So I think the real question is, with price getting up to 160, levels not seen in multi-decades, are we going to see the Bank of Japan step in, or is this going to continue? It looks pretty drawn out at the moment. We can see it's gone a touch parabolic. So could this be in the natural order of things? Do we start to see see a pullback on the dollar yen, or is the yen just going to continue to move lower? We can see against the other majors, so the Aussie is having a fantastic day against the yen, a lot better than the dollar in a lot of regards with this move that we are seeing since last week. So just from last Friday, we can see a movement here of nearly 3.3%. So very strong move, and it's a similar story for the other majors to the yen as well, with those key moves as well. So will we see the Bank of Japan start to step in sooner rather than later, and if so, how are they going to do that, and is it going to have a big effect on this current trend? Because this is a really nice trend at the moment, and regardless of whether you're trading the Aussie or the dollar or anything in between, it's been a really nice running trend, and it is showing nice PA signs as well, with ranges and then breakouts, and then we can see here a range and then a breakout, and it's observing key support points as well. So it's some nice looking trends at this stage. So I think a lot of focus will remain on if we do see a pullback, if there is intervention, will be a very deep pullback or turn into a bit of a correction, and how long will it go for? And then when it does finish, do we see a new resumption of the trend with higher lows, and could that be a good opportunity to try and jump into this trend if already you are sitting on the sidelines waiting to get into it? So the other majors as well so far today having solid days, so we're seeing gains to the US dollar as it is a bit lower. Some of the other major currencies, the dollar is currently lower to the CAD, and we are seeing oil trading surprisingly 0.74% lower, which is a decent amount for the Asian session, and so we can see that's after a bit of a gap lower, so a little bit of false advertising there. So oil continues to trade in an interesting position. We've seen a nice move up. There's plenty of resistance up here. Buyers look like they just can't really hold a move above this area here on the short term. This is the second time we've seen this occur. We do have good support down at 82.42. So if we do see a new move down that gets down to the 82.42 area, do we see a rejection and a move back up? And if not, do we suddenly see buyers force a break here? But then again, they've got a lot of areas of resistance moving all the way back up to 87.33. So is this trend over? We have a break of the fast trend. We have a downtrend in motion. Will we see a new move lower? If we break that area here, that could start off a new, extension lower, and then do we get back down to 80 even, or do we get back down to 80.50 around those areas? So we'll continue to see what happens over the next few days. We see a move back up above here, or a move back down to this level here. Gold is lower at this stage today. It sort of continues to ignore the fortunes of the USD at this stage. So we're seeing minus 0.54% at this stage, and silver is slightly lower at minus 0.02%. So gold, a nice classic looking lower high here at the moment. We had that first move down. We had a bit of value buying that petered out. We've seen a good looking rejection there. So this looks like a failed continuation at this stage. So do we see sellers move back down to test 13.25 area? If they do have a break there, could it be sank a little bit deeper, maybe even back down to 22.71.5? So we'll continue to see what happens with gold here. It does look rather bearish at this stage, but we do need some confirmation with a new push lower and a break of some of these support areas. So definitely one to watch there. If it does continue to hold at this point and can't beat this area, expect to see probably a little bit of a consolidation pattern start to creep in as well. Now the other story today, which has been a little bit surprising, I was watching it over the weekend. It did look like the possibility of buyers were going to start coming into the market a little bit stronger than what's being presented to us at this stage today, and that's really the top crypto coins, the majority of crypto coins. So we had some nice looking low rejections and a bit of buying yesterday, but that's all petered out today. Sellers have really gotten stuck into the top crypto coins at this stage. So Bitcoin, you can see what I'm talking about. We had the support here, 63.091. It looked all right. We had a bit of buying there. There was a bit of trouble at this stage here, but it still looked okay. But now sellers are really starting to leg in. So this looks like a pretty decent confirmed lower high. Are we going to see a break of that low, and will we then see a move back down down to 6,800. That's really the question I'm wondering at the moment. If we do see the short-term selling continue to pick up with a move back down to test that key support, that's really the area I want to see buyers defend. If we do see some nice rejection at that area and a new move up, that could be signaling a new short-term trend or extension upwards. If we don't see it though, and we do see a continued test and a break lower, that could be setting off something a little bit more worrying if you are currently holding, and we could see some more weakness creeping into Bitcoin. Ethereum also, it was great, really solid 2 days. It is down 3% at this stage. A lot healthier at this stage. Wouldn't be getting too worried unless we saw moves back down to these two areas here, with sellers continuing to push. We still do have a bit of a downtrend structure though. We've got this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we would need to see a new lower high just to continue this push. We see a new move down even to this area and a new push back up. That could be showing the buyers are trying to take control. So just without repeating myself too much, we can see BNB failed to get above this key resistance at 617. It's come down, it's got an inside lower high, it's pushing lower today. And some of the other key ones, Ripple for instance, breaking down a lot more vigor than some of the other coins. So just make sure that's nice and updated. So I think, do we see Ripple get down to test this area here, and then if it does, do we start to see buyers come back in? It was a very nice short-term rally that's turned into a new lower high, and we're seeing this extension push lower. Some of the other ones are showing some pretty big losses today. Is Ava is doing down 4%, but it is starting to test this key support here. If it breaks that support, we want to see if it does get back down to this level, what happens down here. Do buyers come back in? Again, are we going to see a fail at this area by sellers and a new move to be pushed back up? And similar story, like finally we just have a look at SHIB. It's got a 4% number attached to it at this point in the day. Again, not a massive bar, lower high pattern, moving down, still in a nice impulse up. If we do see a new higher low, to see if we can get a new short-term rally, starting to spark off that. So a very interesting structure here, quite similar to some of the other coins. We can see that nice pattern. We do need to see that lower low though, just to reinforce that lower high, and that downtrend is still continuing. So that's a fair way down though. If we do measure that, you're talking about a move, around 25%. So we'll see what happens if it can sort of muster that kind of selling. But yeah, definitely a bit surprising today to see how weak it is. Sort of maybe thought that buyers would be a little bit more interested after the pattern, some of the patterns we're seeing on Friday and on Sunday. So that's sort of a bit of a walk around at the moment. The FOMC, the jobs data coming up during the week. A few public holidays on bank holidays on Wednesday. Crypto, trading surprisingly a little bit weaker today. Some buying action on some of the US futures at this stage in the day. Oil slightly lower, gold as well slightly lower, and the yen, the action on the yen continues to be quite interesting, and continues probably to be the hottest point of the day. So we'll see if we do see any action or comments from the Bank of Japan, and if we do see this, some of these moves continue. So a lot of interest at the moment, on some of these risk markets, majors running against the yen. So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for your time, and if there's anything you think we've missed, feel free to drop us a comment. If there's anything also you'd like to see, please drop us a comment, and otherwise we wish you all a fantastic week. Good trading. Thank you again for your time, and bye for now.